अच्छा मैं इसमें
Without ethics, man has no future. This is to say, mankind without them cannot be itself. Ethics determine choices and actions and suggest difficult priorities. A very good afternoon to our esteemed judges, talented participants, the worthy teacher in charges, and the lovely spectators. I, Vandana Khanna, take this opportunity on behalf of the Secretary of the event, Dr. Jyoti Badial, Principal APS, Dhar Road, to welcome you on day one of Northern Command Inter-APS Ethic Bowl. I really owe to Mrs. Sunita Dwivedi, Regional President AWWA, Northern Command, who took the initiative for the commencement of the Ethic Bowl 2023. So, without any further delay, let's start with the proceedings. May I start with the proceedings, ma'am? I would take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed panel of judges for today's event. We first have with us Mrs. Rupa Chauhan, an alumna of Lady Irwin College, Delhi University, and specialized in child development. Ma'am has a master's degree in English and zoology. Being from a defense background, she has had exposure to education and experience in teaching and administration in schools across the country. She comes with over 30 years of experience in teaching science and English at primary, secondary, and senior secondary level, having dealt with children in the age group of 3 to 14 in reputed academic institutes across the country like Head of Schools, Kunska Paskolan, India, 2018 till date. Initial school principal, Scottish High International School, 2008 to 2018. Principal, Army Nursery School, 2005 from 2007. Ma'am has also been the program leader and the chief trainer for the Cambridge International Examinations for Teachers and Trainers course, being the management representative for ISO and monitored the ISO 9990 Standard for Learning Services Management, along with the standards of quality, environment, ISO 1400, health and safety, ISO 1800 at a school is committed to. She has also been the lead auditor for ISO 9001, Quality Services Management. We welcome you, ma'am, on the board.
Thank you
Ma'am,
so
would you
much.
like to have a word with the teams to encourage and motivate them?
First of all, thank you so much for such an elaborate and wonderful introduction. I really appreciate. And I wish best to all the teams and the students participating. May you put your best foot forward today and looking forward to hear your wonderful views. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. Next, we have with us in the panel of judges, Mrs. Neetu Chanan, whose primary education was from Tara Hall Lorento Convent Shimla High School from St. Joseph Convent. Ma'am is medical in BSc and ma'am is silver medalist in MSc Botany. Ma'am has 3 decades of experience in the field of education, of which the last 10 years has been in the leadership role. Ma'am is a founder principal of Made Easy School, Gurugram. Ma'am is also a founder principal of Noble High School, Gurugram. Ma'am was a founder principal, Presidium Gurugram. And ma'am has steered Army Goodwill School Kupwara J&K as chairperson to CBSE affiliation. As convener, established Uram, a school for specially able children in North Kashmir. Honored by TERI for Tetra Park Initiative in Environment and Ecology under project. We welcome you too on the board, ma'am. Ma'am, would you like to share some ideas or the strategies or success of mantra to share with the participants today?
Uh, Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So firstly, truly a privilege to be here. Thank you so much. It's a great platform and a great initiative undertaken by AWWA. I think it's giving a great platform to all the children to express themselves. And what I think is the best thing about it is that it's always, there's some theme which is undertaken and accordingly the children are asked to research and talk and discuss about it. Just a little address to all the children. Children, as far as I'm concerned, you're all winners. This is just a platform where we are all going to discuss, hear whatever your opinion is. And obviously, the best has to win. But winning, again, like I said, must keep your spirits high. Everybody is a winner here. And I'm here to judge you. But actually, I'm here to learn a lot from you today. So all the best to each one of you, all the teams, and I'm sure you'll all come out with flying colors. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Next in the panel of judges, we have Mrs. Lakshmi Venkatesh, an educationalist by choice with over 25 years of expertise in the field of education. Foraying into education management, ma'am has a track record of successfully leading and motivating teams to achieve objectives and exceed expectations. A firm believer in creating values for the society. Ma'am is wife of Lieutenant General P.R. Venkatesh, PVSM, SM Reed. Her work experience spans pan-India, giving her the opportunity to address the learning lacunas at different levels, enhancing the teaching skills and empowering teachers, involving customized methodologies embedded in the curriculum to combat the falling teaching learning outcomes. Her forte over time has crystallized into reviving a failing educational institution. Equipped with managerial, administrative experience and leadership skills, she has been successfully able to introduce pedagogical changes and creating a vibrant teaching and learning environment. Currently, ma'am heads a school in Delhi, which caters to the first generation learner and has led the school responsibly by augmenting high-performing teams, managing diverse functions of administration and public dealing, and envisaging a knowledge society. An alumnus of University of Calicut, her proficiency in accountancy and business studies has assiduously aided the management in planning and executing a robust budget without compromising the safe and healthy environment of the school. Having 28 fruitful years of experience as an educationalist, she has proudly shouldered the responsibility of the holistic development. Under her able guidance, the school has made immense progress. We welcome you too, ma'am, on the board today. Ma'am, would you like to address the teams?
Yeah, good morning, little children. For us, you'll always remain little till the time you grow up and reach a stage of decision making. This initiative of Ethics Bowl actually bowled me. I was a judge last time also, and I quite liked. And believe it or not, I was so impressed with the way the Ethics Bowl was there. So we started something on a similar line in our school, and we have named it as the Conscious Alley. See, we all now this I would primarily I'm addressing children. Before the start of things, see, we all reach a crossroad in life, and we need to take a decision, like to do or not to do, if to do, how to do, when to do, and that really puts us in a cauldron of dilemmas, right? And this is a humble attempt, perhaps, which has been started by Northern Command, and I quite appreciate it. Is perhaps just a stepping stone for you of what you're going to face in life ahead. And I wish you all the best. At least, when I meet all of you and when I see the suggestions and all, I can see a future which is certainly going to be one which is very bright, truthful, honest, and which is going to be of help to everyone, one whose life directly or indirectly gets pinned on to our decisions. So happy decision making, my dear friends, and wishing you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We have with us our fourth judge, that is the time judge, Mrs. Pooja Verma. I welcome you too on the board, ma'am. Now for the first session, day one, match two of Ethic Bowl. We have participants from team of APS Udhampur and the team APS Nagrota. So now I will request the participants from both the schools to introduce themselves one by one. Let's begin with team APS Udhampur. Team APS Udhampur. I request all the participants one by one to introduce themselves.
A very warm afternoon, everyone. Myself, Myra Mahajan. I am a student of 10th grade and I am a part of Ethics Bowl Udhampur.
Greetings everyone. I am Anaya Bhattacharjee. I am currently in class 11. I've taken commerce with maths and I look forward to this competition. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Ananya Sharma, and I am in class 11th, part of arts stream.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Erika George, and I've come into 11th, and I'm in arts stream along with maths. So yeah, it's going to be difficult, but yeah, that's all. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Devaswini Singh. I'm in 10th grade, and I'm very excited for the match that are going to be held.
Good afternoon, respected judges and my fellow teammates. I am Ika in class 10th.
I welcome you, team APS Udhampur. Now it's time for our second team, team APS Nagrota, to introduce yourself one by one. I request the participants to introduce yourself one by one.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Toshita Vaishnavi Dogra from Class 11 Science, representing AWWA Public School Nagrota as a presenter.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Harshitpal Singh of Class 10, is here representing my school, ABS Nagrota, and I feel highly obliged to be part of it.
Greetings everyone. I, Arish Mahajan, am going to represent my school, APS Nagrota, as a presenter.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tamanna Sharma from Class 12 Science, and I'm going to represent my school as a presenter.
I welcome you, Team Nagrota APS. I'm sanguine that we will witness vivacious discussions from both the teams today, and I'm really very excited. The presenter and the responder teams will be chosen through draw of lots. The names of both the teams, as you can see in the bowl, the names of the teams are written on the slips in this bowl, and I will shuffle and pick one slip. You can read the name. Team A is APS Udhampur. I request the judges to note down that Team A is APS Udhampur. And likewise, we have the second slip in the bowl that is left, and that is quite obvious that Team B is APS Nagrota. I request the panel of judges to note down that Team B is APS Nagrota. Albert Einstein once quoted, "You have to learn the rules of the games and then you have to play better than anyone else." With this mantra of success, let me briefly explain the rules. Though the important guidelines and rules have already been shared with everyone, but still I would request all the participants to listen to the rules very carefully. Here is the course of action. Each team will be given 10 minutes to present, including answering the ethical question put by the moderator at the end of the case study. The reminder bell will be given after 8 minutes, and final bell will be given after 10 minutes to sum up the case. After that, 1 mark will be deducted for each minute, excluding the time limit. The other team will be given 2 minutes to confer and 5 minutes to comment. A bell will be rung at the end of 5 minutes. The other team is also required to ask a maximum of 2 questions to the presenter team post their commentary. The presenter team will be given 2 minutes to confer and come back with their answers. No cross questioning by the other team is allowed. The presenter team is required to answer the questions put by the other team within 5 minutes. The team can decide whether all members will speak or only one member speaks. A reminder bell will be rung at the end of 5 minutes. After this, all the judges will ask 1 question each. They are allowed to cross-question and the presenter team members. The presenter team will get 2 more minutes to confer and get back with their answers. There will be a 15 minutes break before the next team presents its case. Once the next team starts, the same format as the one mentioned above will be repeated. The moderator closes the event by finally announcing the scores for both the teams and declaring the winner. I hope the rules are clear to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Someone once said, discussions are always better than arguments, because an argument is to find out who is right and a discussion is to find out what is right. Team A, APS Udhampur. I'm going to read your case study now. The title of your case study is Honesty and Integrity. Jim is a son-in-law of a local MLA and is now posted as block development officer in his father-in-law's constituency. He comes to know that MLA's followers, who are mainly small contractors and many elected members of Gram Panchayat, are hand in glove with local Panchayat officials in misusing Magna Rega funds. He finds that each panchayat secretary, along with elected members, have used machines to complete many works under the scheme and siphoned off funds using fake job cards. He also finds out that all this was done at the behest of his father-in-law, the local MLA. Now, the state government has taken cognizance for the issue after a media report and has ordered inquiry into the scam. Jayant has to probe the matter and file a report to higher authorities. His father-in-law is pressurizing him to file a false report, as he himself is under pressure from his followers, who, if found guilty, will be slapped with a criminal case. Some contractors have contacted and requested him not to mention their names in the report in return for a hefty bribe. Some panchayat secretaries have requested him to spare them, as according to them, panchayat members has had correct them into becoming partners in crime. Jayant is recently married and it is his first government job. Now, the question that comes to you is, what should be his course of action? Start timer to 8 minutes first and then to 2 minutes. Only presenter team, cameras and mics working, rest all on mute and invisible. Team A, you have 10 minutes to represent your arguments and your time starts now.
Honesty is the best policy. A very familiar quote, isn't it? A quote with deep meanings which the society doesn't seem to care about. In today's world, is honesty really the best policy? Does honesty even exist? A very warm afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In the case study provided to us, yes, Jayant might be the MLA's son in law, but he has a duty towards the society and its members too. Yes, one might say to help his father in law to save his marriage needs to be his motive, but not at the cost of someone else's whole livelihood. Under MG Narega, a total of 11.37 crore households avail employment and a total of 289.24 crore person days employment has been generated. 11.37 crores, everyone. If Giants chooses to save his father-in-law, he is depriving 11.37 crore houses from their basic livelihood. He is the culprit in taking their lives. Giants as a leader needs to realize that biasness in work can lead to distorted assessments and promote stereotypes, causing more damage than good for the organization. The misusing of MG Narega funds has been a major issue. 1.19 lakh cases of financial misappropriation involving a whooping amount of rupees 261 crore, out of which only 1 crore could be recovered. Tamil Nadu reported maximum number of cases, nearly 1.58 lakh, but only amount of 4 lakh could be recovered. As Lord Krishna once said to Arjun, a person is considered superior who is impartial towards his friends, enemies, relatives, and strangers and treats everyone with equality. It is us who decide whether we are inclined towards the ethically right or to where our heart leads us to. Therefore, it is really important for Giants to go for what is right. That is, support the workers and file a case against his father in law because no matter what, in the end, it's ethics, honesty, and integrity that makes us what we are. Passing it on to Anand.
Thank you so much, Myra. Lobhat krodha prabhavati. Lobhat kamaha prajayate. Lobhanamascha nashascha lobha papasya karnam. A Sanskrit shloka taken from the Gita, which means greed causes anger, greed begets desire, greed leads to delusion and destruction, and greed is the root cause of sin. Giant is faced with a dilemma of choosing family and what is right. Even today, India's economy suffers from the biggest problems of corruption. In fact, one of the biggest roadblocks to progress for developing nations like India is regarded to be corruption, the abuse of public power for private gain. Ladies and gentlemen, the definition of the word corruption in the Oxford Dictionary is an issue which affects both the public and the private sectors. It suggests that the government is strangling society through political bureaucratic means while hiding behind the cloak of democracy and the rule of law. Or, in simple words, government is or the government employees are misusing the rule of law and abusing their political and bureaucratic connections. According to the Indian Penal Code or the IPC, a public servant refers to any government official, military, navy, or air force, as well as any local authority established by a center or state act. The government officials in India can be penalized for corruption under the Indian Penal Code of 1860 and the Prevention of Corruption Act of 1988. A Benami transaction. Pretty self explanatory by its name. Benami transactions are forbidden by the Benami Transaction Prohibition Act of 1988. Government officials who engage in money laundering are subject to punishment under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act of 2002. Anyone who engages in Benami shall be punishable with a sentence of 3 years in prison and a fine. According to the PMLA, the Public Money Laundering Act, whenever a person participates in any procedure involving the proceeds of crime and presents those proceeds as unattained property, money laundering has been committed. Respected judges, isn't choosing the right path never easy? It is always a decision we make with our hearts to guide us. We need to follow the light. After all, as rightly said by John Williams, your life is a direct result of the choices that you have made. So, if you're not happy with your lot, then it's surely time for you to make wise choices. Over to you, Ananya.
Thank you, Anaya. We all have watched movies where there is this one politician above all having control over everything, even the life of others. And then there is this protagonist with no fear, just honesty, and a strength of a superhero who always wins no matter what. That is what we see and are made to believe. But you know what? There are going to be times when you will learn more about the world you are entering and feel defeated when you see the gap between the ideal and the reality. A father said, and I quote, "Of what use is the money now? I have just immersed my son's ashes. When I needed the money to save his life, I did not have it." The disabled man in his 40s, along with his wife, had put in 100 days of work under MG Narega in Pampapur, Chhattisgarh, but never got paid for it. They never got paid for their work. This is just Ramesh's story, but I can't even start at how many other thousand stories like this exist. Year 2018 to 2021, 25,000 workers died every year due to lack of employment. They were never at fault, yet were forced to take away their lives, leaving their children starving but alive. Imagine if you were one of the Narega employed workers sitting in the burning heat, waiting for work only to realize that the man you believed did nothing for your justice. The man that you believed did nothing at all for your justice. If Jayant, who holds all the power, does nothing, the poor, depending on him and the scheme for their livelihood, will be left just like that while the corrupt will continue to get richer. I quote, "Tears are shed, but no one hears. Tears are shed, but no one hears. The silence screams the pain and fears. The weight of poverty too great to bear, and in desperation, some choose to disappear." So, as someone who can actually bring a change, what should I do? Should I overlook that how many are losing their lives in every minute I am taking to make a decision? whether I should save them or not. This decision can be very, very difficult, but Jayant needs to keep this quote in mind while answering this question. I quote, "The time is always right to do what is right." The time is always right to do what is right. Thank you. Passing it on to Erica.
Thank you, Nanya. As a block development officer, we believe that it would be ethically right for Jayant to submit a true report stating the names of all the thieves that were part of this large scam. We say that there's a solution to every problem, but there's no way to run away from your moral responsibility. We all look forward to a part where the alternatives are suggested, but it's only when there's a problem involved, not your moral duty, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, what even are the alternatives? Let's review them. Jayan can submit a false report and his relationship with his wife would be all roses and butterflies. But then Jayant would also become a part of this scam. And the problem won't stop there. And that can even end up in Jayant losing his first government job. Second option, step down from a position so that someone else can take the decision. This one doesn't even make sense. When you could make a biased decision for your father in law, if you step down, even then your relationship would be affected. Third option, submit the true report, which will have the following advantages. People's life will change because hundreds will be employed, and the country's life will change since economy would be uplifted. The flip side, he might lose his wife. But ladies and gentlemen, if his wife really loves him, she'll not be blind enough to ignore what her father had done. And she would fully support her husband to make the right choice. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we have to look at the bigger picture. Because before you were a family member, you were a part of a nation that provided you with a life, a nation that has nourished you ever since you were born, a nation that has been with you forever. So you owe your nation your services. And this nation is the people from whom he'll be taking their rights from if he submits a false report, ladies and gentlemen. Because I repeat again, all the judges and my fellow team, that you can never run away from your responsibilities. There is choice when there is a problem, but there's only one ethically right decision. That's the right choice. I'd like to end with a quote and then leave you all to ponder upon what would you have done. Therefore, I quote and unquote. 1,000 times we die in one life. We crumble, break, and tear apart until the layers of illusion are burned away. And all that is left is the truth of who and what we really are. Very beautifully and powerfully said by T. Scott. Thank you.
Team A, you spoke very eloquently. Those were some thought provoking arguments presented by you. Very intense facts. Okay. Now, Team B, you have 2 minutes to confer, after which you will present your summary and will pose 1 or 2 questions to Team A. I request you to pose both the questions all together. Start timer to 2 minutes and bell rings at 2 minutes. Your time starts now. Team B, your time is up. Please be ready to present your comments and pose your questions to Team A. You will be given 5 minutes to do so, and your time starts now.
Every citizen has a civic duty towards their nation to develop, evolve, and uphold it. But what happens when family relations come into play? The given case presents the ethical dilemma of Jayant of whether he should support his father-in-law and give a false report, saving his position as an MLA as well as his accomplices, or should he help the poor by filing the appropriate and correct report. The given situation is a test of his integrity, honesty, righteousness, morality, and non-partisanship. Moreover, it is important that he follows his duty as a good son-in-law without overshadowing his professionalism. He must also ensure that this concatenation of corruption is finished and that the investigation proceeds smoothly. Keeping this in mind, he should proceed with great caution. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act of 2005 is very helpful for the poverty-stricken people in our country. When decentralization occurred in 1992, creating the Panchayati Raj, it was especially catered towards fulfilling the needs of the people of the village, taking into consideration the interests of all the classes. The Panchayati system was created to directly listen and resolve the pleas of the poor. It is evident that the very nature of the Panchayati system has been exploited in this case. Jayant is facing a clear case of conflict of interest between personal duty and public life. Professionalism preaches separation of personal relations and duty. Firstly, his relation with the local MLA and his daughter should not be an influence in this matter. As an honest public servant, he should probe the issue in an unbiased manner. Now, over to Harshit.
Thanks, Toshita. Firstly, I would like to congratulate my opponents for such a beautiful presentation that they gave. Here, the interest of the poor people is under attack. They have been deprived for their right to enlightenment. Jayant should side to the people and the public and not surrender to any kind of pressure from their father-in-law or her wife. He shouldn't pay heed to the request of the contractors, and however powerful they are, he shouldn't pay any attention to them. I would like to tell you that you didn't mention the fact about the contractors who were saying that they were forced to do what they actually did. I would like to add to your point of views that the Jayant must add that he must convey to the government about his relations with the accused MLA. Otherwise, his report, even if it is correct, may lack credibility. Now, I would like to pass it on to Tamanna.
Okay, so now in every instant, we can see that ethics are being prioritized. But what about the duty as a family man? Even though he is a government employee, but he is also a family man. He has his wife sitting at home, and she must be facing some sort of pressure from her father and must be getting traumatized. So, my question to you, my dear friends, is that what are the things or what are the steps that you should take for her so that her mental peace would not be disturbed and she would not be involved? Thank you.
That's it, Team B. The question.
Ma'am, we are done.
Okay. Very good points brought to you by Team B as well. Thoroughly prepared, I must say. Now it's turn for Team A, APS Udhampur. You have 2 minutes to prepare your answers, and your time starts now. Team A, you can present your answers now. You will be given 5 minutes and your time starts now.
Thank you so much for your questions, Team B. So, speaker number two said that, what about the contractors? What do you think that the contractors would do? I don't think we are in a Hollywood movie or a Bollywood movie. I don't think. Let's think practically. Do you really think that someone would be? Do you really think that the law isn't in place? Do you think that the Indian legal system lacks? It's extremely fun to see that. Oh my God, yeah, the contractor comes in and then they beat them up. They ensure that you know he didn't pay me my dues. I will beat him up. I will ensure that he pays me back. But in reality, can that really be true? And for further elaboration, I pass it on to Tejaswini.
Thank you for your question presented. Uh, First of all, as my understanding takes me, you stated that what alternatives should her wife take not to be traumatized? Well, the wife should understand she is married to a government officer, a civil servant. Well, the duties of a civil servant are to serve the people, not to discriminate them. And alternatives could be that the person or giant consoles his wife because after all, the wife is married to a government officer. You can't say that just because of personal relationships she neglects morality, ethicals, and all the values that the society has put her in. He should build a trust with his wife that the father-in-law should not fall to co-erection, and every contractor and government servants and politicians involved in embezzlement should be charged. Every penny diverted should be accounted for. Passing it on to Erica ji.
Thank you, Tejaswini. And thank you to the opposite team for their wonderful comments and questions. Comments, I guess, just for the sake of comments. And thank you for providing all the background about decentralization and stuff that wasn't even needed. Now, moving on to the question of the fourth presenter, I guess it was that ethics and duty as a family member and what are the steps that should be taken to, so that the wife's mental health is not disturbed. Well, Tejaswini did answer half of that. And apart from that, I guess you did not listen to my speech very carefully. So, because I did mention that if his wife really loves him, then she'll not be blind enough to ignore what her father had done. And also, I said that we have to look at the bigger picture. It's not only about the wife or the relationships. When you are a government official, you have to see beyond that. You sometimes, because the call of your duty is bigger than anything else, it's not really about his wife and that stuff. So yeah, I really suggest that please open your ears next time when you listen to us, and well, you question just for the sake of questioning. So I guess that will conclude your answers. Thank you.
APS Udhampur, are you done?
Yes, ma'am, we are done.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I must say that it was a wonderful deliberation of thoughts and a quite stipulating discussions. Okay. Now I request our first judge to pose her question to Team A. I request Mrs. Rupa Chauhan to pose her question to Team A.
A very good afternoon to all the participants again. And it was indeed a wonderful discussion to hear. So, my question to all of you is discuss the role of ethics and values in enhancing the following major components: cultures, policies, and social harmony in a country. I'll repeat my question. Discuss the role of ethics and values in enhancing the following three major components: culture, policies, and social harmony in a country. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Team A, please answer the question. Team A, APS Udhampur, you are requested to answer the question of the first judge. Time is running.
Right, ma'am. So, ma'am, we have heard that Mahatma Gandhi once said that politics are to be run from ethics that are drawn from religion, and we do agree that ethics and values do form the basis of a society. And well, they do play a very important role. Even if we see in this case study, if Jayan takes the right decision, that is the ethical decision, that is to submit the true report, to pass over all the names of the thieves that have stolen the money, that is one of the bases that he has to follow. And well, the value of ethics, well, I guess it's really important, and we have all realized it in all the discussions that we have made till now. Ethics are important in culture, in the policies and the social harmony, and well, in all the spheres of a country. And to rule a nation, it is very important. Passing it over to Ananya.
Yes, I also believe that ethics and values play a very crucial role in enhancing culture policies and social harmony in a country. Let's say culture, ethics, and values are fundamental components of a society's culture. They shape the way people interact with each other and contribute to the overall moral fabric of a community. For example, we can take example of our Lord Ram, who used to our ethics are to do this when we meet someone. So this also is a part of ethics and value, and it affects all of us culturally even after decades of when this started. And for policies, ethics and values can also help to shape public policies in a country. Policies that are grounded in ethical principles are more likely to be just, fair, and equitable. And even when ethics are there while making policies, it can work, and everyone will agree to that. And in social harmony, ethics and values are essential for promoting social harmony. When people share common ethical and moral values, it helps to create a sense of community and belonging. It is very, very important in promoting social harmony. Passing it on to Anaya for further elaboration.
Thank you so much, Ananya. Thank you so much, judges, for your question. So, the role of ethics and morals in the Indian culture is so important. It plays such a vital role in our upbringing. We are taught to respect people, we are taught to treat people with kindness. All this plays along to the ethics and the moral values which we are taught. Whereas, in our whole, let's take this as a cultural aspect. The cultural aspect can constitute of the Indian culture, especially, which talks about respecting that a true nation could only and only be built if true ethics and morals were followed. And social harmony, India is a diverse country, ladies and gentlemen. We are the largest nation in the world. We're the highest populated one. So social harmony in India correlates to the cultures and the values that we've been put in together as a society. So social harmony only coexists because of the ethical cultures and the moral values that have been brought to us through generations. Thank you so much. That concludes. Passing it on to Tejaswini.
Thank you so much, Anayadi. Ethics and value develop norms of a behavior that everyone should follow in society. If every person acts as a self-explanatory, society will respond and might cause chaos and anarchy. Culture as a guideline in determining whether certain practices are appropriate and acceptable plays a very major role in us. As half of my teammates have already stated, the role of ethics in our culture, social harmony is very big. So we need to understand that, and we need to improve the sustainability of these values. Passing on to Maya now. Thank you, Tejaswini, and the judges for your leading section. Inequality, every cultures, policies, and social harmonies are interrelated to each other. If we have fraternity, equality, and ethics, We are as a developed nation. Thank you, and I just conclude our answer.
I hope all the members are done.
Yes.
May I request our second judge, Mrs. Tanvi Chandran, to pose her question to Team A. Over to Mrs. Chandran.
Children, it was somebody needs to noise background. Thank you. It was a pleasure to hear your views, the research work, and confident presentation and the teamwork. So kudos to all of you children. My question to you is, what is your understanding of the term ethics? I repeat my question. I want you to elaborate the term ethics.
Am very thank you for the question, but I would like you to repeat it again since there was a background noise and we were not able to hear it.
Yeah, sure, sure. So my question is, what is your understanding of the term ethics? I want you to elaborate on this. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am. So thank you for your question, respected judges. Ethics is derived from the Greek word ethos, which means way of living. Ethics is a branch of philosophy that is concerned with human conduct, more specifically, the behavior of individuals in a society. Ethics determines our way of thinking in moral dilemma, in ethical dilemmas like this one. We are in an ethical dilemma whether to follow our family relations, whether we are obliged because every man has a twin obligation, one to his family, one to his country. We are morally stretched on what to choose, what not to choose. That is where our that is where our ethical part plays. That is where our ethical understanding comes into play and helps us to choose what is the right path. Passing it on to Anayadi for further elaboration.
Thank you, Tejaswini, and rightly said. Ethics are the way of living. It is the way a society and a culture is determined. So, what is my understanding of the term ethics? My understanding of the term ethics as an Indian would be to, the little things, especially, since we're all in Army public school, let's just take the example of the Indian Army. My understanding of ethics is respecting those who stand at the borders serving us and protecting us. My understanding of ethics is being grateful to everyone around me, and also my understanding of ethics is, being a good member and an asset to the society where I can base off of my values and my morals, because it's not just the way of living, it is also the way you present yourself, it is also the customs and the traditions which have been passed on to you, it is also the whole aspect, it's you as an individual, it is you as a whole, you are the person that your ethics base you off of. So I would like to pass it off to Ananya.
Yes, thank you. For me, ethics, being an Indian, being someone who's very connected to their roots, who is very, very influenced by our past, by our Indian past, I would like to say that ethics to me is knowing that what we have the right to do and what is right to do. Ethics for me is that. And also, for taking an example, in India, ethical principles and values have been an important part of its rich culture heritage for thousands of years. I'll give you some examples. For example, the concept of dharma, which is a central tenet of Hinduism, refers to the moral and ethical duties that individuals have towards themselves. Yes, dharma is something ethical. Their families, their communities, and society as a whole. The principle of ahimsa, which means non-violence is another important ethical value in Indian culture and is a guiding principle for many social and political movements. So ethics to me is knowing what we have the right to do and what is right to do. Passing it on to my next team member.
Yes. So ethics are like beautiful moon that shine in the dark night sky of difficulties. Ethics is basically moral philosophy, the discipline concerned with what is morally good and bad and morally right and wrong. How should we live? Shall we aim at happiness or knowledge, virtue or the creation of beautiful objects? If we choose happiness, will it be our own or the happiness of all? And what of the more particular question that faces us, is it right to be dishonest in a good cause? Can we justify living in opulence while elsewhere in the world people are starving? Is going to war justified in cases where it is likely that innocent people will be killed? Is it wrong to clone a human being or to destroy human embryos in a medical research? Ethics deal with all such questions at all levels. It is, according to me, a subject which consists of fundamental issues of practical decision making and concerns including the nature of ultimate value and standards which human actions can be judged as in right or wrong. Passing it on to Erica.
Thank you, Myra, and thank you, judges, for your question. So I'd like to start from the beginning. Since me and my team came to know that we were going to be a part of the ethics poll competition 2023, so we were really happy, excited, and but the question then came. Then before participating in ethics poll, what actually is ethics about? What are ethics? So we had been pondering a lot about that question, and well, what is right and what is wrong may be different for everyone. And since the beginning of the practice sessions, each and every case study that was given to us, there were choices. But the thing was that there was no right or wrong choice. There was a choice for you and for the people around you. And the question was about what choice would you make, what path would you take, and what you think would be the right decision. So ethics for us, I like to sum up what my teammates said, that ethics start from the little things. It's in our, like Ananya said, it's in our dharma, and Anaya said that it is taught in the Indian Army in our school from the little things. And well, I guess that ethics might mean very different to a lot of people, but for us, from personally me, ethics is a differentiation between the right and wrong. It's about constitutionalism. It is about care ethics and so many other terms that were in the only thing ethics. There were so many subtopics under it, and well, that is, I think that should include the conclusion of my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, children. I think I leave this platform enriched myself. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I request our third judge, Mrs. Venkatesh, to pose her question to Team A. Over to you, ma'am. May I request our third judge, Lakshmi Venkatesh, to pose her question to Team A. Over to you, ma'am. I think there is some technical glitch. We'll wait for another 30 to 35 seconds. Okay, due to technical glitch, the ma'am's number is disconnected. I think we should give some more minutes or 4 seconds to ma'am. Ma'am is here. It's taking time. There's a signal issue, I guess.
My
Yes, ma'am is here. Yes, ma'am. You may pose your question right now, ma'am.
yeah, I'm sorry about that. There was a slight power failure over here.
No issues,
Well,
ma'am.
my dear, yeah, so my dear students, now I have a very fairly simple question to ask. We all grow up, obviously, you spoke so eloquently about ethics and how nice it is, and it is so good to have so much of moral values. Now, when you go through the case study, it is as clear as a black and white, the whole thing. What should the answer be? But then, why are we even discussing this kind of a situation? The answer is very clear, that obviously the giant, as a government personnel, he should go with what is right. But now that we are all debating, why are we even debating such an issue? Could you, I just need a very fair and a straight answer to this. Why have we come to such a situation that these kind of a case study has to be discussed, and we are even thinking what the giant should do? There's no alternative. He just has to do one thing. He is certainly got to go against the father-in-law. There's no two ways about it. But if we are debating, that means the reality is something different. Why are we doing it? I just need a simple answer for that. Over to
Over
you,
to you,
children.
Team A. You have 2 minutes to confer, and your time starts now.
Thank you, ma'am, for your question. Now, to answer your question, like you said, that it had to be discussed. So, well, of course, it had to be discussed. While sitting in ethics bowl, we are discussing what is ethically right, but that does not mean that everything that is ethically right is very easy to enforce. We say that a Jen should make the ethically right decision, but we have seen in so many cases that ground reality, it does not happen. You can't it's not easy to pass, a judgment against your father-in-law. I mean, a person would think twice or thrice before sending their father-in-law into a jail for imprisonment. So, yeah, like ma'am, you said, it's a topic of discussion because the ground reality is different. And well, that is why we had to discuss this case study here. Now, over passing on to Anaya.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your question. Why are we still debating this issue? Well, the ethical dilemma that Jayant was put in was not because he had to make a decision. It was very clear. He had to report his son and father-in-law's misdoings. The ethical dilemma that we were faced with here was whether or not he would give up his moral ethics for family, for love. Would he be willing to sacrifice all the hard-earned money that those 11,000 people put in just for his wife, his family, just for his values? It is a topic of discussion, as Erica already mentioned. The ground reality, especially in a country like India, where corruption is so common. It is so common. It happens every other day. I'm pretty sure you may have even witnessed corruption happening around you. But to you know to sit here and to debate about things like this only ensures that we lead. We're going to be the next leaders of this country. So how are we going to think in such situations? How are we going to, what are we going to do if we're presented with such a situation? What are we going to do if we have to choose between our family and our nation? I pass it on to Ananya.
Thank you. And first of all, thank you very much, ma'am, for your question. So but we as humans often fall in the gray area. And because of that gray area, we often mix the black more than the white. So, as already mentioned by my teammates, Jayant here is a human being. And also, I asked this question to you, ma'am. You are in a situation where you have to do something that can make your father end up in jail. So that will be a difficult situation. We all as students are sitting here in ethics school, and the purpose of ethics school is to make us understand that what is right and wrong, and to tell us in future if we face these kinds of situations, towards which situation we have to go. But still, as humans, there is a bend towards your family, towards emotions, that what your parents are saying. So that is why I think that is where the gray area begins. The distance between dream and reality is what we call action, and we often fail to take that action because of the chains we are bound with as humans. So I think we are facing this case study and debating on this case study. That is because we as humans find it difficult to make such a difficult decisions. So thank you, passing it on to Tejaswini.
Thank you, Anandali. We need to realize the ethical dilemma arises from because ethical dilemma arises from conflicts of interest, values, and norms. We can be understood ethics as the right thing to do, but the institutional or the other constraints make it difficult to pursue the desired course of action. As we saw in the case study, Jayant is a government officer. Every government officer takes that oath stating he'll serve his country. But over here, he is in a family relation. He is strained into a family relation. What should he do? That is why we discussed. As you mentioned, it is a case of black and white. Of course, it's a case of binary code, 0 or 1, no other options. But that is where ethics arises. That is where we put our ethical intelligence into play. We realize if there are any further alternatives to it. We realize how can we save ourselves from these situations because both the situations have some pros and cons into it. That is why discussing it puts us into more ethical situations, makes our ethical understanding, ability to answer questions and case studies like these more vibrant. To conclude my answer, I would like to say ethics are basically a man's responsible. Ethics are basically a man's personal duty. We we empower it through our own understanding rather than what the society has put in. Thank you.
And ma'am, I'd also like to add on that it's better said that facts don't cease to exist just because we ignore it. And I would like to end with the line that it's always easier said than done. So thank you.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Very
Well,
well
I
answered,
think
Team A. And thank you, all the three judges, for posing your questions to Team A. I think Team A is well prepared and will have answered their questions with great zeal and enthusiasm. Now we will have a break of 15 minutes, after which Team B will present their case.
Two, one, go. 10 minutes remaining. Nine minutes remaining. 8 minutes remaining. 7 minutes remaining. 6 minutes remaining. 5 minutes remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining. 1 minute remaining. 3 remaining. 3 remaining. 4 minutes remaining. 3 minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining. 1 minute remaining. 'Time's up.
Welcome back, everyone. We had some very compelling ideas from both the teams in the first round. Now it's time for Team B to present the case. The Team B, I will now read your case study, which goes as follows. You are working as an employee in a private company. One afternoon, in the office, you get a frantic call from your wife that your 2-year-old daughter is very ill and her condition is critical. Unfortunately, nobody is there around to help your wife in any way. Your car is the only option to take your daughter to the hospital. You have to rush to help your daughter as soon as possible. You soon leave the office. On your way back home, you hit an old woman and she is critically injured. And before you notice, she dies. Nobody has noticed the accident as it has taken place on a stretch of road that is always free of traffic and people. Your wife is calling you frantically for the help. Any delay would cost your daughter's life. Team B, my question to you is, in this scenario, what will you do and why? Present your arguments and your time starts now.
go by the famous quotation of Albert Einstein. It clearly states that a man's ethical behavior should be based effectively on sympathy, education, social ties, and needs. No religious basis is necessary. Family, the inflexible bond, the unit of society itself. Sacrificing life for the sake of a loved one is considered honorable. But what happens if we take the life of an innocent one while trying to save the life of the one we love? The mentioned case study states the plight of a grieving father, emotionally charged with the determination to save his 2-year-old daughter and to take her to the hospital to relieve her from the pain of her ailment. He hits an old lady who died on the spot, unfortunately. The essence of the rule says that the person should not be driving the vehicle in such an emotionally charged state. On the other hand, law states that he should present himself to the appropriate legal authority in the case of any misdemeanor. The death of the old woman was an accident, and it may invoke some rough driving as the driver was tense. In this scenario, the driver holds on to some responsibility of the death of the lady, even if he did not have any bad intentions in the first place. The incident also asks us to focus on the values of honesty, integrity, and accountability. Here, I would like Harshit to take over with the course of action.
Team APS Negrota, participant 2. Are you done?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Let all your regrets and mistakes become your sails and not your rudders and not your anchors. Driving in an emotionally charged state has caused death of an ailing lady. Driving requires full focus and attention becomes the lives of the people on the road also depend upon you when you are a driver. Since the lady is already dead and my daughter is struggling for life, my immediate step would be to ensure that my daughter's life is not lost. Unfortunately, what happened has happened. The lady has unfortunately died, but still there is something that can be preserved. My emotionally charged reaction towards the dead lady should not harm my daughter's life. I will call the police and tell them all about the accident and give them my personal details. I could have taken the body with me in my own car of the old lady, but it might create a problem for me only because the law demands that the body should not be displaced in order to determine the exact reason of the death. And this will also add to the existing depression mental state of my wife. Now I would like to pass it on to Arish.
A man is ethical only when life as such is sacred to him. Even the most rational approach to ethics is defenseless. This is a case of culpable homicide not amounting to murder, for which bail is an available remedy if the culprit submits to the law. My submission and cooperation with the police will hopefully earn me a bail so that I can take care of my daughter. Thereafter, I will try for an out-court settlement with the family of the woman by explaining my terrible situation at the time. If they do not agree, being a law abiding citizen, I would accept any punishment or fine that comes my way. What's your take on this, Tamanna?
Ethics is knowing.
Participant 4, APS Team Nagrota. Please put forward your views again.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, now you're audible.
Okay. Sorry, ma'am. Technical glitch. Can I restart?
Yes, please.
Start.
What you have a right to do, and what is right to do. In the above scenario, rules and laws coming into consideration are related to road safety, motor vehicle act, criminal procedure code, etc. Now, the values which come into the picture while reading these situations are commitment to family, integrity, that is, owning up to the old woman's accident, courage of conviction, honesty, and being a duty. Therefore, in the only if one is common principle and value, then only one can cater to both the tough situations that his own daughter almost dying and unknown woman getting a victim of unfortunate accident. Whereas if the man had neglected his dying woman and left for his daughter, my dear friend might have been emotionally traumatized and guilty every moment of his life, as no one would have known about the incident. Or knows from his wife too to save her from her trauma. Now I would like her to contribute.
Thank you, Toshita. But now coming on to clean everything. Keeping everything in mind, I believe that he can live a life with his head held high, even if he may be given some punishment by the court. Due to his honesty, his sentence may even be reprieved. Therefore, if one does ethical and moral actions, then one has nothing to fear of and often gets the right justice and results too. Hereby, we rest our presentation. Thank you.
Okay, Team B. Is there anyone who wants to speak? You still have 2 minutes to go. APS Nagrota. Are you all, or are all the participants done?
Yes, ma'am, we are done.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
That was a wonderful deliberation of thoughts by you, team, and there were some compelling thoughts. I hope judges will agree to me. Team A, you
Excuse me,
have
ma'am.
now 2 minutes to confer, after which you will present your summary and will pose 1 or 2 questions to Team B. I request you to pose both the questions all together. Team B, your time starts now.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, could we request speaker number 4 to repeat her speech because it was not clear? The audio was extremely glitchy since they are.
Ma'am,
Your time is up. Please be ready to present your comments and pose your questions to Team B. You will be given 5 minutes to do so, and your time starts now.
Thank you so much for the lovely presentation. I completely agree with you. I agree that it's your own daughter after all. But Speaker 5 mentioned he can live his life with his head held high. He can live his life with his head held high after murdering an innocent lady. An innocent lady who was not even supposed to be there just because you were panicking. How can you live your life with your head held high? And also Speaker 2 mentioned that the body shouldn't be displaced, and or you mentioned all the legalities of the of your whole case study. But what you're going to do, you're just going to leave the body on the road, and you're going to take the vehicle, go to your daughter, and then come back. Like, what sense does that make? And also, you said that hopefully you can earn your bail and an out court settlement. Yes, you are right. It goes under the culpable homicide not amounting to murder, but this can carry a much more severe punishment, and also it is a legal mandate. It is a legal mandate for drivers involved in an accident to report it to the nearest police station, and failing to do so, this can lead to additional charges. And here, it is also mentioned that in if this results in the death of a person, and in which case this has, they're going to be subjected under Article Section 304. So I mean, I don't know what to say, because first of all, how can he live with his head held high, and the legalities that you mentioned did not make sense. Saving your daughter is right on one part, but how can you take the life of an innocent person away? I pass it on to Ananya.
Thank you. Those battles between your heart and brain is what makes you strong. And ironically, when you are in such a situation, the battle intensifies to an extent where the brain stops thinking and the heart starts overthinking. As a result, your body and mind freezes. The same happened in this case as well. I mean, you're proposing that yes, his daughter is in critical situation, and I fully agree. Children are our first priority, and as a father, he must think that he needs to go to his child first. But yeah, your daughter is in a dire situation. You need help. As her parents, you can't even bear to think of losing her, right? But what about the women you just hit? Wasn't she someone's daughter, a mother or grandmother? What was her fault? Did she deserve to die while laying on the side of the road gasping for air? Did she deserve to be denied the chance to say her final goodbyes to her loved ones? Did she ask for all of this? Did she deserve this? Yes, your daughter is in a very critical situation, but what about the life you just took? What about her? I mean, you're proposing that let it go, the deed is done now. How does it matter? But I fully disagree because, yeah, he has a daughter.
Um, Thank you, Ananya. Well, as speaker number one mentioned something about drunk driving. I don't see the point of drunk driving here. I doubt your definition of drunk driving. Just to enlighten you, it is a crime committed when in the condition of consuming of excess of alcohol. It is clearly mentioned in your case study that you accidentally, I repeat, accidentally killed the old woman because you were in a hurry and the only thing you had in your mind was to save your daughter. I would literally clearly suggest you to read the case study a bit more precisely. Passing it on to Ananya.
Yes, we are done with the comments. Now coming to the question number one. So according to you, what you proposed, if he goes to save his daughter, what if in the way his daughter dies and already the woman is dead? What about the guilt and all the remorse he will feel after that? What about that? How do you propose he face all the guilt and remorse in the future? Thank you. Passing it on to Erica for the next question.
Thank you, Nana. So, speakers, you mentioned in your speech that the site of the accident should be left untouched for the future evidences, but you yourself then said that you will go for your daughter to save her, and then you're removing the biggest evidence from the site of crime, that is your car, from the accident scene. I mean, how can you contradict yourself in such a situation? And secondly, my dear second presenter, you said that where you can live with a head high when you make an ethical decision. Well, dear, ethical decision does not mean a blind decision. It means a practical decision also. And moving on to the question, why did the person conduct himself in such a way that led to the death of an old lady? I mean, yeah, that is also I would like to answer.
Team B, you can present your answers now. You will be given 5 minutes and your time starts now. Two minutes counter. Now I request Team B, APS Nagrota, to present your answers. I request Team APS Nagrota to present your answers.
Thank you, ma'am. Uh, Being privileged to get such a platform where we can discuss the ethical dilemmas is an opportunity that everyone seeks for. And just not to forget the fact that we are not here to debate or criticize over the situation, but we are now acknowledge now the speech that we stated that it was a drunk driving thing. Am I audible? Ma'am, ma'am, am I audible? Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, participant 2, you're audible.
Uh, Thank you, ma'am. So, as the fellows, that it was a dry situation. I guess the Sahin mentioned it. So, I would really like to pinpoint that we have clearly mentioned in the speech. It is an emotionally charged driving and not a drunk. And also, one of your fellow members mentioned that person gasping at all. So we also would like to mention that the speech in the dilemma it is already given. It is clearly given. It is clearly given that the person she is already proven dead. It was a death on spot situation. So so it is so she must not be gasping for breath and therefore and also now I would like to pass it on to Harshit.
Thank you, Tamanna. Now, I would like to point out the facts and ideas that you gave about our presentation. You said that a person who has committed something wrong cannot move with his head held high. My friends, I think you are totally wrong because it's about honesty and it's about the trust that he had on the constitution. It's about the laws, I think, because if a person has got the punishment for the crime that he has committed, then I think he's a normal citizen as much as the others are. You also mentioned that the laws that I gave were not applicable about the case, but my friends, if you are abiding the laws, that's actually where you are following the ethics. You also talked that we said that we are leaving the body there on the road. My friends, that I have said that we will tell the police about the accident and then we will move further. Now I would like to pass it on to Toshita.
Thank you so much, Harshit. While talking about the guilt, which you were mentioning in the question, he is, as it was actually said in our presentation, he is submitting to the police and standing before the law authority and accepting any form of punishment or monetary fine, which is for the life which has taken. And I'd like to reaffirm that it was not a murder. It was like a culpable accident. It was not intentional. And yes, he would have to carry that guilt. But I'd like to reaffirm that blood relations are much more important in our planet. And it when even if it was the last day on Earth, it's our family that we would go back to. And while you were talking about that woman gasping for breath, I would like to reaffirm that we clearly mentioned in our presentation that she was dead, and unfortunately. So thank you very much.
Team APS Nagarota, are you done with your answers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I request our first judge to pose her question. I
Hello,
request our
students.
first judge, Mrs. Rupa Chauhan, to pose her question to Team B.
Team Negrota, it was wonderful to hear all of you. And I would again like to congratulate both the teams for going strong so far. So, my question for you is when we say the debate between morals and ethics, is there a probability to weigh one over the other, or should we always equate morals and ethics? I repeat, when we talk about morals and ethics, is there a way to weigh one over the other, or should we always equate morals and ethics? Do they differ or are they equal? Can we weigh one over the other in such a situation like this? Think over it because such questions would come across to you in your real lives as well. Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am, your camera was not visible.
Unfortunately, there is a signal issue around here, so we are unable to
Not an
switch
issue,
on.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, Team B, APS Nagrota. You will be given 2 minutes to comfort and come back with the answer.
Two minutes remaining. One minute remaining.
I request Team B, APS Nagrota, to come back with your answers.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that thoughtful question. So, when we're talking about morals, according to us, it's about the right and wrong which are imposed by society on us. Like when we are a child and we grow from teenage years as an adult, we often hear different aspects and different sides of the story. While ethics, which we believe, consist of our inner conscience of what's right and wrong conduct. And I think in different situations, different decisions need to be taken. And sometimes ethics surpass the moral. Like in the poem Last Grade, which I In last date, I heard a poem, "The Road Not Taken" by Robert Frost, in which it was it was told that different roads are taken with respect to different decisions which we take in our life. Oftentimes, we face similar situations which we were given in our case studies as well, in which there's no right or wrong. There consists of the gray area, like the concept of yin and yang, good and evil, and and even in goodness there is some amount of evil. So we have to take a decision accordingly, and that's when I think moral values and ethics, we need to choose between them. Like in our case study as well, moral values will say that, oh, maybe we should have put the woman in the car. But if we're talking about ethics, it makes us second guess everything and makes us look at the picture from a wider angle with a wider mindset. So thank you very much. Now, yes, thank you, Mom.
Team APS Nagrota, is there any participant who wants to speak? Okay, now I request our second judge, Mrs. Neetu Chandan, to pose her question to Team B. Over to you, ma'am.
Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So my question to Team Nagrota, again, a very simple question, children. It has two parts. First, what do you understand by the term integrity?
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am, in between. Ma'am, I request you to please turn on your camera.
Oh, it's not on. Just a minute. I need to figure out. Just give me a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you see me now?
You in between.
Okay. All right. So children, first part of the question is, what do you understand by the term integrity? And the second part of the same question is, what will be the consequences on individuals and the society in the absence of integrity? You want me to repeat?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the first part is, what do you understand by the term or by integrity? Okay, and the second part is, what will be the consequences on an individual or the society in the absence of integrity?
Yes, Team B, you will be given 2 minutes to confer and come back with your answer.
this, I'll just take a second. It seems Team Nagrota has poor connectivity at their end. So, I mean, do you give them another, because most of the times they were not.
Yes,
audible.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
So, what is the rule position in this case? Do you give them another chance, or how does it go about?
Another chance, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Excuse me, ma'am, can we answer the ethical question now?
Yes, participant 2, APS Nagrotha, please speak.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the question, ma'am. Thank you for the question, ma'am. Integrity can be defined as the ailing your conduct with what you know to be excellent. A person of integrity displays a principle of dedication towards values and beliefs. They always seek to reflect ethical standards and do the right thing regardless of the circumstances. The conviction of a person of integrity determines what they will say and do at any time. They initially direct their conduct according to the understanding of what is right and what is wrong. Authenticity marks the heart of integrity. Their, their internal character remains consistent regardless of the external conditions. Integrity includes the quality of being honest, and honesty is what actually matters. And now I would like to pass it on to Toshita.
Thank you, Harshit. We believe that a person that lacks integrity will make decisions based on how it would make them look rather than how it would benefit the society. So I think that a person that lacks integrity views the world from a one-dimensional uh, uh, views only. So they only see themselves and not the full picture, that is the society and the community which they live in. And they look at their actions as a performance which is rated to be rated for approval rather than a step for their community. And this leads to many problems which we see in daily life today as well, including corruption and embezzlement, where people are literally stealing money from the pockets of the hard earning people in our country just for their own sake, which is not acceptable at all. And hence, integrity is essential in a person's moral values as well as ethics. Thank you very much.
Team B, APS Nagrota, are you done? Are you all done with the answers?
Yes, ma'am, we are done.
Okay. Now I request our third judge, Mrs. Lakshmi Venkatesh, to pose her question to Team B.
Well, good afternoon, children. You all are doing quite a good job in choosing the correct path, right? And now, if you see this case study of this employee who goes through a panic, who turns out to be a driver backed by panic, right? And lands up into an accident. Now, this is a case where the incident has happened. We are at a situation in this ethics bowl. We are discussing on what should have been the correct decision and wrong decision. Sometimes, you know what? Decisions, I now, here is where I want you people to listen very carefully. Decisions in life as you go ahead cannot be taught in the school, like in a school textbook, right? It becomes an impromptu decisions. But if you see this whole case study, one thing that comes to my mind is, as you people, I foresee you all as the leaders of tomorrow. Why does such a place even exist, where a wife has to call up the husband and tell him to get a car? Why is not any form of an ambulance services available over there? It may be a bit of an offbeat question. It has happened. The accident has happened. Maybe the man rushed this child to the hospital. She's saved. We all talked of the moral value. But what comes to light now is this: this is a woman who is saddled in a place which cannot provide the bare basic necessity of a vehicle to transport the child to the hospital. She has to wait for her husband to come all the way there, pick the child, take to the hospital. When such a precarious situation happens, does life offer you so much of time? Why was that place not taken care of? And panic. We all act. We do not react. We all react when struck by panic. Right? That's the second point. You, as crusaders of tomorrow, how would you ensure that the such a place, like maybe you may generate an awareness or at least come forward with a option, but do we still have places where basic ambulance facilities are not there, basic medical facilities are not there? And you as children, how should your mind and heart be controlled in a situation of panic? So these are my two questions. You decide how you're going to handle this so that future will not see such kind of an incidents. I just wanted a solution to a problem. All right, not a debate to what has happened. Let's not debate on it. I want a solution. So that's it for you all now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Over to
Now,
you, children.
Team B. Thank you very much, ma'am. Team B, you have 2 minutes to confer and come back with the answer. Yes, team APS Nagrota, your time starts now.
Ma'am, I really appreciate the question. It was slightly, though it was slightly off the track. It was a really thoughtful one. I believe that there are so many women who are in flight. Even in today's society, we are in 2023, and still we hear the terms like "wait for Papa to come home." Wait for Papa; he will make the decision. This decision making skill are it is believed that they are not for women. And when you said that the father had to come home from the office all the way just to take the daughter to the hospital, I feel like in today's modern society, every woman should learn how to drive. And uh, I think it's a problem because of the close-mindedness of people, and due to the patriarchal society which we live in right now, oftentimes women lack the motivation to even learn it. And this is aside from all the family pressure they go through, because it is even if women go on jobs, it is believed that women should stay inside the kitchen, manage all the housework. Even if there is house help on the way, they still have to manage and coordinate all of the household work. And uh, and oftentimes, I believe that due to the emotional side of the women, they it was that's why she was so frantic and giving. And honestly, taking example of my mom, who is the most amazing, sensible, and has the best decision making skill in the whole world, she still lacks the motivation to drive because she says that there is not much for me to do even if I drive, and she says that I should carry on the legacy and I should do it for myself. So now passing it on to Harshit.
Thank you, Toshita. I would like to thank ma'am again for your question. I would like to mention the social side of the question. We are still a developing country, and these facilities are what we are actually lacking. You know, if we take the example of USA, Canada, and all these developed countries, they have CCTV cameras on their roadsides that can just detect the accidents at the time it happened, and it can also protect a lot of lives. The another thing is that we lack the facilities like dispensaries, local dispensaries, I should say. If local dispensaries should would be there, then I don't really think that there would have been felt any need of the father to come and take the daughter with them. As a coming leader, as you said, as a coming leader, I will provide with the local dispensaries, because if something like that could be there, then the need of someone to come and take someone to the hospital may not be needed. So that's what we believe in that. Thank you. Now I would like to
Thank you, judges, for your questions. One more point that I would like to add to my fellow friends' answer is that basic first aid facilities should also be taught at every house. Every woman should learn what are the basic first aid acts, so that in a hurry situation they can help whosoever is in pain, and also can cater the situation easily. Thank you so much.
Is that all, or do we have anyone else from Team Nagrota? Well, I think this question can be opened up to Team Udhampur also, my dear children. See, this is what it is all about. Well answered, but at least it is not the question of being a woman or thing, but it is the question of basic facilities being made available at every juncture and awareness. And you children, I like the last answer where she said the basic first aid. The first aid amenities and facilities and knowledge has to be ensured that every individual of this country, even in the remotest of the village, should know what is the immediate course of action. Right? One doesn't wait for a husband to come in his car. What if he doesn't have a car? You think he's going to carry the child in his motorcycle or a scooter? So that's not the thing. The question is the basic first aid should be, and you as children, as the crusaders of tomorrow, these ethics bowl are situational where they just give you a situation where such a thing could have happened, or we imagine, we perceive that such a situation can happen. And what do? We can go on debating on the plus and the minus. The real thing issue is how do we go ahead as being a part of the solution. And today being Ravindranath Tagore's birthday, I think I would sum up this thing. What I wanted to actually tell you is this last four lines of his poem, Where the Mind is Without Fear, where like he ends it up saying, where the mind is led forward into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. We need to awake, and you are going to be the one who are going to wake this country for a brighter tomorrow. I wish you all good luck, children. You all have done a good job for your age and whatever exposure you all could have had. And especially now when we are in this cauldron of information, information, what do you say? I would say so much of information is available. Make use of it for a benefit of a better tomorrow. Thank you, my dear children. Thank you so much. Good answers. Ma'am, you're mute. Ma'am, you're mute. We can't hear you. Ma'am, you're mute. Mute.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I really appreciate both the teams for the ways they have expressed their views and for the critical analysis of the case. So now we have come to the end of the session, day 1, match 2 of Ethic Bowl. And I'm sure that both the teams are eager to know about the results, but you have to wait for a while. We will now take a 15-minute break for the compilation of the results.
Oh. 10 minutes remaining. Nine minutes remaining. Eight minutes remaining.
I request all the judges to forward their results in the WhatsApp group. I repeat, I request all the judges I request all the judges to forward the compilation or the results for the compilation in the WhatsApp group.
7 minutes remaining. Six minutes remaining. Five minutes remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute remaining. Nine minutes remaining. Eight minutes remaining. Seven minutes remaining.
Thank you for your kind patience. I know you all are eager to know your results, but we are finally ready with the results. But before I announce the result, I want to acknowledge the preparation and enthusiasm of both participant teams. The result notwithstanding, you have both made us proud. So coming to the results for today, the winner is Team A, APS Udhampur. Congratulations with points 148. APS Nagrota, better try next time. You have points 112.5. Congratulations to all the students, staff and principal APS Udhampur present with us today. I would take a moment to thank our worthy judges who took out time from their busy schedules. Your time and dedication made it possible for us to reward the students. It has been a pleasure being with all of you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, children, and thank you all. Well conducted.
Thank you, students. Wishing you best and many congratulations to APS Udhampur.
Thank you so much. And heartiest congratulations to all of you, irrespective of whether you won or you lost. And all of you did exceedingly well. So heartiest congratulations to each one of you.
Yes, congratulations, Team Udhampur. In fact, there is, as ma'am just said, there is no winners, there are no losers. It was, and Ethics Bowl is all about situation. May you all get groomed into a bright citizens of tomorrow. Wishing you all the best. And some of you spoke so well. I was literally floored. So I foresee a very nice future tomorrow. Good. Keep the tempo high and keep doing well. God bless. And thank you all the
very
judges.
much.
You all did a splendid job. Stay blessed, my dear children. Yes.
Thank you, worthy judges, once again.
Thank you. It was truly a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.